Hey there, friends. Welcome back to As A Man Thinketh on Yanasa TV. So this is an interesting story. 175-year-old family farm. That's a century farm, almost a bi-century farm in New Jersey. Cranbury Township in Middlesex County. This farm is being forced into eminent domain and taken from the family after 175 years. And the reason that this is being done, I think, is fairly interesting and helps us understand a little bit about the cost of some of these, welfare programs that we have today. And this is what I'm going to be talking about here is affordable housing and the state's requirements for this city and county to have affordable housing. I don't think that the city and the county themselves necessarily want to go through with this. It's one of those things where they feel like they have to go through with it because of a mandate. Many of you have noticed that we keep wearing these leather patch hats that say defend the right to farm on them. These leather patch hats support our nonprofit, Meet My Neighbor Productions. You can get your hat at Yanasa Trading Co. and help us defend the right to farm through education, outreach, and, as we've been doing over the last couple of years, farm relief efforts. So get your leather patch hat and let others know that you defend the right to farm. All right, so let's look at that mandate real quick. So this is the Mount Laurel mandate from 1975. The court ruled that municipalities cannot use zoning laws to exclude low-income residents. When Mount Laurel failed to comply with the first ruling, the court expanded its enforcement power, setting specific mechanisms to ensure affordable housing obligations were met. This decision also established the builder's remedy, which allows developers to sue municipalities and override local zoning laws if they include a certain percentage of affordable housing in their projects. Municipal obligation: every municipality in New Jersey must create realistic opportunities for the development of affordable housing, or they could get sued by a developer and forced into eminent domain of a 175-year-old family farm. Fair share of allocation: municipalities are assigned a quota of affordable housing units based on statewide need, population, and regional factors. So they've got a quota that they have to meet as a city or county in order to meet the housing needs statewide. All right, so no matter what community you live in New Jersey, you've got this quota that your community has to be a part of, and you have to meet it. So in 2023, I'm just going to give you a little more background on this and then we'll talk about it. In 2023, Fair Housing Center analysis estimated that over 146,000 new affordable housing units were needed statewide by 2035. Municipalities must finalize their compliance plans by June 30th, 2025, or face legal consequences. Cranbury's controversial plan to seize the farm is a direct response to those requirements. So because of those state requirements, which, this is where, I get it. You have to have affordable housing. There's a camper behind me. This is just parked in my lawn. The chair was sitting over here because we had a campfire over this way the other night. Wanted to be comfortable. But in Maine, they're actually banning the ability for people to live in a camper full-time. They're going to grandfather some people in, but the reason why there are people living in campers full-time is because they can't afford housing. And I think in the Maine mandate, they're going to allow you to live in a camper for 90 days while you're building a home. We actually did, not this camper, but we lived in a camper. It was a 28-foot, I think it was a Sierra or something. It was an older one. It was a camping trailer too. It had 2 bedrooms in it. But we lived in that for a year while we built our house. And honestly, I don't think we could have afforded it any other way. So I see the need for affordable housing. I see the need for, maybe, coming down a little bit on people living in trailer homes full time. This is all East Coast stuff. I think in Maine's case, that's going to end up being a problem because it's totally not affordable. In the state of New Jersey, though, it's a bit totalitarian for the state to come in and say to every single community, look, you've got to do this, and if you can't meet these requirements, we're going to sue you, we're going to force you to do it. We're going to give the builders the power to sue you and take property by eminent domain to make it happen. But that's what's happening in the state of New Jersey, and because of that, this 175-year-old family farm. Here's a photo of the farm. Now, the original farmhouse, from my understanding of it, burnt down almost 100 years ago, and a new house was built in its place. And the two brothers that own it, Andy and Christopher Henry, they actually haven't lived there, but they have kept up this family farm. It's a legacy. They've rented it to a local farmer so that he could continue to grow food. So it's a functioning farm, and basically the municipality is put in this position by the state of New Jersey that says you're forced to do this when you need to have so many units by 2035. And so they're going to take this farm by eminent domain, hand it over to a private developer who can then privately develop it into affordable housing units, get a bunch of government checks for it. That right there, folks, is a redistribution of wealth. It's a redistribution of wealth, and it's using eminent domain for the purposes of making a private developer wealthy. I think that farmer actually, he raises sheep and cattle on it, so it's a fully functioning farm. Just to help you put this into perspective, so by June 30th, 2025, which is right around the corner, the town of Cranbury has to submit a plan for 265 units by 2035 to the state. So they're under a time crunch. This is like gun being held to the head, local politicians having to do something because a court in the state of New Jersey says this is what you have to do. Because this is what we have to do to be fair and make affordable housing for everybody. I think in many ways, if there's not affordable housing, the economy will eventually correct itself and crash and recycle. And I say that because if you don't have workers, or you don't have people that are able to work for those lower paying jobs within a community, then eventually, the people who are living in that community aren't going to want to live there anymore because they can't get any services, they can't get the things that they want and they need. And so eventually you're going to have a market correction, which would help some of this stuff happen naturally. And the other thing I think, when it comes to the use of eminent domain, in this case, the owners of this land are not going to get nearly what the land is valued at. And I say that because they've had offers from developers, from industrial parks to office parks to you name it, on this property for millions of dollars. They haven't taken it because it's a family farm. It's been in the family for 175 years. It's just a 21-acre farm. But they're not going to get half of that in an eminent domain battle. And like I said, this law, it might be inadvertent, but it is benefiting a private developer who's going to take that land, use government funding to build affordable housing, because we all know all the programs out there for affordable housing. At the end of the day, it's the taxpayers doing it. So I don't know. I thought this was an interesting story. I'm curious to know what you guys think about it, because it's basically a situation where a state mandate on land laws in the state is forcing this county to go against everything they believe in preservation and conservation, in taking this 175-year property that's been owned by this family for 175 years, putting it in eminent domain, and ultimately selling it to a private developer. This is a property that's had offers for $20-30 million in the past on it. Selling it to a private developer who's then going to get state and federal grant money to build out affordable housing. It's a bit ridiculous. And we wonder what is going on in the world today, why we have less farms, why fresh local food is inaccessible to us. It's because somebody at one point in time thought it was a good idea that we force communities into building affordable housing.
It's been months since Hurricane Helene flooded farms like this one in western North Carolina. Now help is arriving from hundreds of miles away to help farmers restore their soil and their livelihoods.
Over the past several months, Meet My Neighbor Productions has trucked and delivered over 1,000 cubic yards of compost, in addition to hay, grain, chicken tractors, grow towers, feed, and other immediate needs to help western North Carolina farmers provide critical, local, and nutritional food to their communities.
From the bottom of our heart, we thank everyone who's donated and helped out.
This is a game changer. We're very grateful.
Meet My Neighbor Productions, or MMNP as we call it, is a nonprofit we created to support our farming and rural communities.
It takes a lot to feed a whole community of people. The lettuce that you ate was grown right there. Like, you cannot get more local than that.
Since its inception, MMNP has been community funded, enabling us to focus on stories without the prejudice of the government or large foundations.
You don't understand how big your documentary is. Your documentary changes everything across an entire nation.
Meet My Neighbor Productions has grown from a small farm series to documentaries ranging from the coast of Maine to the mountains of British Columbia all the way down to the panhandle of Texas, supporting farms and educating the consumer.
Yeah, farming's in trouble. Those times are gone. And the small farmers, pretty much gone.
While the rest of the world is fighting to destroy rural livelihoods, we're striving to educate the public and ensure the strength of our rural communities.
There's nothing more real than growing up on a ranch. You know, you get to see the life.
Our documentaries have opened eyes, our Rural Youth Fund has opened doors to new frontiers, and our Relief Fund has saved communities.
People just started coming out of the woodwork to help. So it's a pretty exciting thing to see so many organizations just come together, and especially so many people from 200 miles away.
Take action now and click the link below this video.